Hello, today I will be talking about empathy and social responsibility. First, we will talk about empathy and how it is related to emotional intelligence. So, according to this article, empathy is the ability to recognize feelings, recognize the causes of those feelings that others experience, participating in another human experience, and also showing appreciation for the highs and lows of emotions. So, I wanted to briefly touch on the difference between sympathy and empathy because those things tend to be mistaken for or misused easily. So, first, sympathy can be described as more of an impulsive reaction in the moment. It's an uncontrolled emotional reaction and can often involve overwhelming emotions that are not always controlled or expressed in a logical, thoughtful way. Whereas empathy is a more fleshed out skill that is learned and that can be developed over time. So, empathy can be cultivated by understanding another person's perspective, communicating respect and demonstrating respect to that individual's experiences, the modeling of a genuine attitude toward what that person is feeling and not invalidating them, and then finally, just showing that acceptance of that person's experiences is exists. So, one process that was discussed in this article was the importance of educating children of emotions, and that can be the first step in developing empathy from an early age. So, this requires parents to just be mindful of the feelings that their children feel, even if the situation that triggered those emotions seems trivial. It's just a matter of recognizing that that situation is important and valid to them, whether it's a fight with a friend or a broken toy, as trivial as it may sound. It's just being aware that that child has feelings. And then the next step is just validating those feelings. Parents can say, I see how you're feeling. I understand that you're feeling upset or angry or excited over something. And if there is a problem at hand, parents can work with their children to develop problem solving skills and strategies. For example, if they are being bullied at school, what are some solutions that that child can implement? And as they are working through this problem solving process, it's important for families to incorporate their values and such as integrity or honesty or the golden rule, whatever those values look like, parents have a duty to teach their children those values so that they can apply those to the solutions they come up with. And throughout this process, children learn how to identify their emotions. They identify when they're feeling anxious or happy or angry or scared. And so it's a really important skill for children to learn at an early age. And by just taking the time to foster emotional education, parents give their children choices and independence and autonomy to take care of these matters on their own. Teachers can also play a role in helping children develop empathy by putting them in situations that require teamwork, where they have to work with individuals who have different ideas, innovations, and perspectives. So that can help students better understand each other and be exposed to thought processes that they've never been exposed to before. Also, teachers can put students in situations where there's a dialogue taking place, where students can share their personal experiences. For example, if they went through a divorce or lost a parent or went through cancer or had to move from a different state, it'd be beneficial for students to hear those types of experiences if they haven't gone through that themselves. And then finally, teachers can model acceptance of their students through active listening, compassion, and acceptance. Next, I'm going to dive into corporate social responsibility, which simply refers to an organization's duty to its stakeholders and the stakeholders' goals and needs. There are primary stakeholders and secondary stakeholders that almost every organization must deal with. The primary stakeholders refer to the service recipients or customers of that organization and also the employees operating within that organization, as well as the suppliers that provide the necessary resources and are involved in the day-to-day actions of the organization. Secondly, the secondary stakeholders involve the investors of the organization, the creditors, the governmental entities or partner organizations that are not directly associated with the organization. Oops, I'm sorry, but also have a play and a role in the organization's duties. All right. Next, we're going to talk about how corporate social responsibility kind of stems from the senior managers, the board of directors, and the executive management that every organization has. So these people, these individuals have a vision and a goal that is broad and that is communicated to the direct managers and middle managers and supervisors within their organization. So it's the duty of the managers in charge to make sure they are carrying out the vision and goals of the upper management. And the core values that these managers possess also influences how the vision and goals are carried out. So that is what corporate responsibility looks like. This article also discussed the importance of human resources departments. So basically, human resources are responsible for working with employees and nurturing their skills so that they can do the best job at whatever job duties they have. So, human resources provide a place for employees to express concerns, but also, of course, provide productive training programs that equip employees with the skills and knowledge they need to succeed. And as employees get better at their jobs, as they feel more respected and safe within the company, then their performance improves, and thus the profits are maximized for the shareholders and investors in the company. So, this article also discussed the importance of leaders being ethical and having strong values guide their behaviors. So, ethical leaders have a duty to give constructive feedback to their employees, sharing their strengths as well as their areas for growth. And if there are areas for growth, then those leaders provide the necessary resources for employees to realistically complete their jobs so that they feel like they have a purpose within the organization and they feel like they have the tools and skills they need to complete their jobs successfully. Ethical leaders trust the members of the organization, they trust their employees, they don't micromanage, they protect their employees' needs, and as a result, a values based organizational culture is hopefully cultivated and developed. So, HR departments can be seen as the liaison between corporate social responsibility and employee development, where they make sure that employees have a safe place to present their needs, present their concerns, and then as a result, higher revenue is produced for the company. So, successful corporate social responsibility leads to employee commitment because of the strong organizational culture. Employees get a better sense of emotional intelligence with a strong leadership at the helm. And also, employees feel like they can associate themselves with the company. Their self esteem is increased because they believe in the company's mission, they believe in the company's goals, and they don't have shame in being associated with this company. And then finally, the goals of the employees align with those of the company for the betterment and success of the company. So, some implications for both of these components of emotional intelligence. I'm first going to start with empathy. I see how the skill of empathy is not just a skill that people are always born with, but it can be cultivated, nurtured, and brought about through proper education, training, and practice, not only through families and parents teaching their children, but also through organizational institutions. HR departments can provide empathy training. They can provide resources for employees to learn how to practice empathy or be exposed to situations and people that are different from them. And another takeaway is that leaders who are empathetic not only prioritize their employees, but they also protect their own well being in the process. So, empathetic leaders draw the line between becoming immersed and entwined, entangled in the employees' issues, but they can objectively listen to their employees if they're having a conflict with a coworker or if they're having trouble being productive and have empathy for that individual, but then come to a solution with resources within the company and training tools. And then some implications for corporate social responsibility is that however it is implemented reflects the company's core values. So if a company is concerned primarily with making profits for their stakeholders, then that will be reflected in the organizational culture. Um, Effective corporate social responsibility respects the needs of all stakeholders, not just the shareholders, not just the investors, but they also respect the employees and their needs and members of the supply chain. And one last takeaway is that being able to invest in HR, targeting the quality of HR departments, can hopefully pave the way for producing more loyal employees and cultivating a rich organizational culture.